Very interesting. Now, wait a minute. What does that mean if it, let's see now. Let's see if we can take a look at this. If we live then in a universe where order, divine order prevails, we're in a universe where there is a cause beyond the intelligible that keeps everything in place, where there's a transformative element in it. Now, if we can be persuaded that this universe is also fundamentally and intrinsically good, that is to say, if God is good, what does that, how might that affect us? What consequence follows if we can make that connection? Order, intelligible, created in such a way that it has the capability of transformative, it's a transformative universe. We can become better. That's where we are. That's letter 8. Now, what's interesting about 8 is that Dionysius is now praising a certain monk. Now, watch the way he praises the monk. That's this man, or anyone who wants to be like this monk. And in that way, we can get an insight in what's the dynamics behind the way in which he's reasoning his way through this, because the issue he's trying to bring us to is, if you do live in a universe like this, what implications does it have for you and I? Well, let's get into it. All right, this is Demophilus, right, the monk, letter 8. I'm on page 140, 141. Now, again, I'm going to take a little liberty here in the quote of the last sentence on 140. He talks about Moses as a figure to use to make the point. I'm going to drop Moses, I'm going to continue the point. But whenever they proclaim one's worthiness for divine honors, it is proclaimed because of that person's preeminent imitation of the divine good. He drops God, he picks up the Greek word, the good, and now, see, since obviously built into the idea of good is good, he dropped the theological aspect of God, picks up the highest idea of the good. Since all men desire the good, anytime they desire anything, they only desire it because they think it's good. Therefore, the highest good ought to be God. Right, no, therefore, he gives us this great line, right? That therefore, if anyone can proclaim the worthiness for divine honors, it must be simply because there's a preeminent imitation of the divine good. Now, I'm on 141. I'm doing the same thing. I'm just going to carry the theme across. I'm at 1085b, that little number on the side, about a third down on 141. He who holds converse with God, the good, must model himself most of all on the likeness of the good, insofar as attainable, and must know in his own conscience his own deeds performed out of the love of good. Therefore, if you're living in a good universe, and it has a transformative dimension, getting closer to the cause. If you want to know the cause, would you not then be getting close to the cause of what, in fact, is a transformative, intelligible order, which is good? Well then, what if the way to do this is to, as much as possible, the more you know about this, then to imitate it, to imitate the good, makes one nearer, closer, like, similar to the good. Therefore, the goal of man is imitation of the good. He's building it right through it, isn't he? He's just building it right through it. Now, he has qualifications. He has qualifications in here from 1085b, and you can see the way he does that as he proceeds. But I want to get to the conclusion, which is about 4 lines down from the bottom, up from the bottom. But receiving in peace the God-bringing rays of the really good and trans-good Christ, let us rise on these to his divine good, right? To his divine good works. Is this not a sign of goodness beyond speaking and above knowing? That he made beings to be, and having let all things into being, that he wills all things eternally to be like himself. Look here. How did he get that? How did he get that? Look here, I wonder whether you'll go along with this reasoning. What did God do when he created the universe? Let's see. He had to have a model. Right, we agreed with that. He had to have a model. All right, and he created the universe in terms of that model. To the degree that it's a good creation, there's a similarity between the model and the creation, right? Here's the model, here's the creation. There must be a similarity between the two. Right? Must be a similarity between the two. Oh, by the way, what's the idea? The idea is the mind of God. What does that mean? Wow, that is very curious, because look what we can do with that just simple notion. All right. That therefore God, or the good, wills, I'm on the very top of 142, he wills all things eternally to be like himself and have things in common with him, each according to its aptitude. Now, why would he say that? Now, let's stay with it, all right? Anything that's created, the copy has to be like the model, and the model is God, the mind of God. Therefore, he's creating everything to be like himself. Oh, he's making everything to be like himself. Then to the degree that it is like himself, to that degree he's an excellent artist. If he's the greatest of all possible artists, then his work must be, in fact, beautiful. Because beauty is a measure between the model and the copy. To the degree to which you can execute a model most perfectly, that degree they're similar. To that degree there's a sense of beauty between the two, right? What do you know? All right? Therefore, if God wills the universe to be like himself, then we, who are part of that creation, by becoming good, are becoming like the Creator, like the idea or the logos within the mind of God. What's that logos? Logos is a principle of the mind. That's a principle, the exercise of reasonings, the exercise of the intelligence and the mind. So then, hey, wait a minute, by understanding and working